Right, our next item then is an update on the Council's involvement and support for the cost of living. And there's an awful lot going on, and Claire, you're going to give us a bit of an overview.
Thank you. So first and foremost, I want to start with a huge thank you to our incredible officers for pulling together such a fantastic report. I think you will all agree they have been exceptionally busy with this almost 100-page report. And it's not just this team, let's not forget our amazing partners who have also helped our residents. Their dedication, compassion and hard work have truly brought these vital initiatives to life. Without their commitment, none of this would be possible. I am deeply grateful for the positive impact they are having on the Cotswolds. As Cabinet Member for the Cost of Living and Inclusion, it's my privilege to share how our Council is stepping up to address the cost of living crisis with thoughtful, long-term solutions that go well above short-term relief. One of those shining examples is Cirencester Food Pantry. The pantry does more than just put food on the table. It's building a community around sustainability and support by reducing food waste and promoting a culture of sharing. The pantry supports a greener Cotswold while helping affordable, nutritious food. Then there's the Cotswold Food Network. Now, this just isn't any network. With over 250 stakeholders, 5 major meetings to date, it's becoming a foundation of resilience and collaboration, bringing together food banks, community centres and local organisations. The network is making sure every household has access to nutritious, often locally sourced food, another win for both people and the planet. Thought you'd like that, Mike. Through various support funds, the Cotswold Council have reached and uplifted over 30 community groups, funded initiatives from local food banks to mental health programmes. These funds are directed where they are needed most, creating a solid support network across our district. Another new initiative launching in December is the Low Income Family Tracker LIFT programme. LIFT will help the Council use data to better understand and target support to families most in need by connecting low-income households with essential resources like benefits, job opportunities and skill development. LIFT will help families stabilise and thrive before financial issues become crisis. It's about making sure our support reaches those who need it most, right when they need it. The Household Support Fund is another great life plan, which has reached over 26,000 households to date, providing more than 4 million in energy rebates and supporting over 30 community-led projects. Residents have shared their relief and gratitude, with many saying these rebates have been a crucial help in managing everyday expenses during challenging times. Our holiday activity food, HAF programme, has also been a big hit, providing over 2,200 meals and nearly 2,000 activity sessions this summer alone. HAF have supported not only children's well-being, but also the whole family's quality of life. Additionally, our benefit postcard, which you will find at the back of the report on page 13, has just been delivered to households across the district, raising awareness about essential support for rent assistance, wellness programmes and financial aid. This includes a real special focus on pensioners, as pension credits remain one of the most unclaimed benefits in our district. With the recent loss of the winter fuel payment and the growing concerns that some pensioners may face a choice between heating or eating this winter, this is especially worrying. It's worth encouraging every pensioner to apply for pension credits. Not only does it provide much needed financial relief, but it also quantifies them for winter fuel allowance. The postcard serves as a small, powerful reminder that help is close at hand and ensures that our residents knows about the support available to them. We are requesting this evening to note this report and to ensure that our cross-party cost of living group continues to support more communities. Together, these initiatives are building a more resilient, supportive and environmentally conscious community. My heartfelt thanks goes out to everyone involved. Your work is truly changing lives and creating a stronger Cotswold district for all, ensuring that nobody is left behind. Thank you.
Brilliant. Thank you so much, Claire. I really, it's quite inspiring actually, and I know that you, Mandy, Jacqueline, Wright, Joseph. I know, God, this is a problem, isn't it, when you name check people? Undoubtedly miss people out. So, thank you so much for all the hard work that you've done, and I know for many people it makes a real difference. And it's really hard at the minute, isn't it? Because at a time when so many people are struggling, actually feel a bit hopeless and a bit helpless in some cases. We are limited in what we can do and the support that we can provide, and of course we'd love to be able to do more, wouldn't we? So many people are worried in our district about the changes to the winter fuel allowance. The government's changed to the winter fuel allowance with many, we estimate 30 to 40,000 people in the Cotswolds who are going to be affected by this, and many of those living just above the poverty line. These aren't people in massive mansions, that are really well off. These are people just above the poverty line. So, while we can't bring in a scheme that basically replaces that money that they'll be losing, what we can do is signpost. We can, use the schemes that we do have to try and ease the financial burden. And actually, on that point about winter fuel allowance, there are a lot of pensioners in this district that might well be entitled to council tax support, might be entitled to pension credit, but aren't claiming it. So the message needs to be, again, put in applications on those. We can only say no, and you might well be entitled to some financial support. So no, at a time people are worried, at a time when the cost of living crisis continues to run on, and at a time when we had the announcement the winter fuel allowance, I think it's really encouraging to see that the council are responding to that and have schemes in place to try and ameliorate the situation. So massive thank you to you, Claire, because I know you've been on the front line and you're really good at getting under the skin of the community and telling people about this. So keep doing that, for goodness sake. We really do need that. Who else would like to ask a question or comment? Juliet, you were first, and then Paul.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you very much, Claire. That was it's really an excellent document, and and congratulations again to the team that put it together. I have got a couple of questions. You mentioned Cirencester Food Bank, and I believe there are other food banks within the Cotswolds, but you particularly mentioned Cirencester. So I just wondered where those other food banks were, if you know. My other question was Cotswold Food Network, which there's a lot of information about it. I haven't quite worked out, and maybe actually people listening, it might be useful just to have a very brief few words about how that affects people, how they access, what's it giving to people. I wasn't sure that. There's a lot of information about how it works and who's involved, but I didn't know how that worked on the doorstep. And my final thing is at the back here we've got an example of the postcard that went out to every household. So every household has got lots of information that was that a couple of weeks ago? It's very recently that this postcard landed on people's doorsteps, which was last week. So that, I hope they've kept that. Oh, and I have one other question, I love the whole thing about the holiday activity and food programme. Not everybody will be able to look online at this. Is it worth having it in school libraries or something? Or somewhere out there? Is there a possibility? I mean, I know people don't so often go to their local libraries, unfortunately, but it might be quite good to have hard copy so kids or parents at parents' evenings or the teachers can actually know what we're doing, because this is an amazing amount of stuff that we're doing and fantastic support. And so just a few questions and some thanks.
Thanks, Juliet. Yeah, so I'll start back to front. I think you're absolutely right about having these printed out and put into different places. I think that's really important. I think it's such a good report. It should be shown off a bit more, actually. You also mentioned about the Food Network programme. Now, I've been to these meetings quite a few times. I don't know all the ins and outs of the meeting. I know that they're run by the amazing team. And basically it's lots of different groups from all over the district, from Moreton right down to Tetbury, and they all come together and discuss best ways of reaching communities and what we can do, and joined up thinking, which is not just good for collaboration, but it's also good financially as well. So there's a lot of work being done there, and I know that Jacqueline and Martin have been working really hard on that. So I'm sure I can get you some more information on that. You also mentioned about the food bank. It was a food pantry that I mentioned.
Food pantry.
Yes, but there are food banks dotted around the district, but the food pantry is not obviously a food bank and it is available to everybody. Was there another question?
I don't think so.
Okay, all right.
I think that's a point as well. We've got lots of great food schemes across the district. They've all got really similar names. So you've got food banks, community fridge, community kitchen, community pantry. So yeah, we've got, it's great as well, isn't it, that a lot of these are about tackling food waste, and the knock-on effect is that, yes, people that really do need it are able to benefit from that as well. But, again, sign up, get a ticket, because it's really... our community pantry here, it's fantastic, it's buzzing, it is absolutely buzzing, and you meet people from all backgrounds there, don't you? You really do, and yeah, it's fantastic. Mike.
So again, I think, brilliant programme. Thanks very much to you and the officers for doing this. I just wanted to highlight that more help is coming fairly soon as well, which will help. Because, of course, the cost of living crisis is quite strongly linked to the energy crisis and the cost of energy. So one of the things we've got coming up very soon, we've literally just last month brought on board and they're collaborating with Climate Leadership Gloucestershire. Together we got a fairly substantial amount of funding to help go out, and we'll be going out to communities with information for residents on what they can do to improve the efficiency of their homes so they can cut their energy costs by improving their insulation, fitting heat pumps, solar and so on, what sort of grants they can get. So for example, those who are on low income can get up to 100% grants to spend tens of thousands of pounds on their houses to improve them and cut their bills, and everybody can get £7,500 grant to get rid of their old boilers and replace them with modern, cheaper to run heat pumps. And of course, from my perspective, that all links nicely to climate change, because we cut people's bills, we cut the carbon footprint at the same time. So looking forward to working with you on that to help our residents even more.
Thank you. I wonder when you get heat pumps in, or
And EVs.
You're a great night out, Mike.
Can I just come back on that? Because I think it's a real, I think there is a lot of crossover with what we're doing. And I just wanted to pick up on what Joe just mentioned about the pantry, and all the different names and everything. I could almost cry when I visit Cirencester Pantry, because it's got such a community buzz. And what we're actually doing is we're giving power back to the people to help one another. So if somebody's been helped in one way, they can say, well, actually, why don't you go and apply for council tax credits or whatever, and they're all helping each other. I just wanted to mention that. Sorry, Jess.
You always come back with something different, don't you? Whether it's like 40 bananas or whatever. Paul.
Yeah, no, I mean, thank you, Claire, for everything you've done on this. I know how passionate you are about it. You're really good at leading this. I mean, I think it's great to just see the various names listed down. I have to mention my favourite cafe, the Black Cat Cafe in Northleach, because it's great. And have you been? You should go, Claire, you should go, because in fact, I invite you to come with.
Okay.
So it's great to see that listed, but I wanted to mention the holiday activity and food programme, because I've kind of been involved in this in terms of the officers and as part of the health portfolio, and I know just how invaluable this has been, and I've chaired the sort of Cotswold Youth Network this year, and when we have those meetings every 3 months, a lot of organisations come together to talk about what they're doing and how they plan it. And just to answer your point, Juliet, there's quite a lot of activity goes on in making sure that families who would benefit from the holiday activity food programme get the information. So whether it's in places like, primary schools, Chesterton Primary School is a good example of that, or other organisations, people are doing what they can to reach out to people on that. Also mentioning about the holiday activity and food programme is that it's coming to an end in terms of the government funding of it right now. So the Christmas version of that, the Christmas that's coming, Christmas programme, will be the final one funded, because the previous government kind of stopped the funding. What I'm hoping is obviously the new government reintroduces funding for it, but in the interim, our team have made sure that next year, and the dates are listed in the report, there's a whole series of activities that we're going to organise and lead on, which is great, isn't it? So thank you.
Can I just come back on that? Because I think you made a really valid point, and it's, you know, we want them to continue, but I think one of the challenges that we face specifically around Cirencester, surprisingly, is the lack of community space. There is community space across the district, but there's not so much in Cirencester, and I think this could actually end up causing a problem with some of these activities because they can't run them, and we're in such a rural area, and transport is such an issue for some of these people.
Yeah.
It does make it quite a challenge, but yeah, thank you.
Okay, any more on this? No? Okay. Well, in that case, I will second that, and we're voting to obviously note the Council's work, but also request that the Cost of Living Steering Group continues to consider further opportunities to support communities with the cost of living. So if we could go to a vote on that then, please.